Here's a big cue for you. Are you tapping into your inner greatness today? How do we know if we are or if we aren't? It's not like we get a noti on our phone saying, inner greatness unlocked today. Woohoo! What are the benefits of us stepping into our greatness? What does it cost for admission? To tap into one's inner greatness, it is a choice that only we can make. It is open 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it never closes up shop. When we strive to become the greatest version of ourselves, we are able to tap into our ultimate potential and see what we are really capable of. There will never be an end destination that we finally arrive at and it says, welcome to greatness, because it will always be a work in progress. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man, Bob Bay. Each week on these solo podcasts, I try to share some insight on topics to help you become the best version of yourself. Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. This is just my bearded wisdom that I hope brings value to you. Now, if you enjoy this episode at any moment in time, please screenshot this episode on whatever platform you're listening in on. Post it to your IG story and tag me at Bob A. That's B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Share out the podcast on your IG story and let me know what the biggest takeaway was, what the learning was. This is very crucial and important to our organic growth of this podcast. And so that all of you out there that are doing it on a weekly basis, I see you and I appreciate you. So please keep sharing out the show. Lastly, we have rebranded our weekly Bearded Wisdom newsletter to now Stay Dialed In newsletter. Less about me and more about us, right? The entire point and intent for launching the newsletter is to help us become the greatest version of ourselves. Yes, I may be talking about my personal experiences, but it's not all about me. It is about we. So the newsletter is still coming in hot every Tuesday to your inbox. Please head over to itsthebeardedman.com to join. Weekly wisdom to help you become the greatest version of yourself, delivered directly to your inbox every Tuesday. What else could you ask for? That is itsthebeardedman.com to join, or you can also hit the link in the description of this podcast to sign up. That is the Stay Dialed In newsletter, and it is coming in hot, baby. We got a lot of wisdom coming your way. Reaching inner greatness. One of the first podcasts I started listening to was The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes, and it ultimately was the podcast that inspired me to want to launch my own. Now, what pulled me into this podcast was a few things. First off, the title, The School of Greatness. I mean, who doesn't want to sign up for that and get a taste of what's happening here just by the name alone? The host, extremely present, curious, and a smart guy that is really good at providing a space for authentic and vulnerable conversations. Also, the variety of guests from different backgrounds and industries. You know, he's had serial entrepreneurs, music industry managers, top-tier athletes, and the list goes on. The knowledge and wisdom that was shared on each episode was and is incredible, which kept me returning to the show week after week. The common theme that I was seeing on every episode, regardless of who the guest was helping the audience reach their inner greatness. Now, before this show, I don't even think the word greatness was really on my radar. I think there were a lot of moments in my childhood leading me to want to become great, but it didn't become clear until listening to this podcast. And ever since, I've been on a quest to achieve greatness. Am I doing it for anyone specifically? Truthfully, nobody except myself. I want to push myself and see what I'm really made of. Have I achieved it? Greatness. I've, done my best. I think it's always a work in progress, but there have been many great milestones along the way, and it will forever be the work in progress. And I truly will never reach the destination because there's always going to be more work to get done, and there's always going to be more things to achieve. Have there been days I fell short or I didn't show up at all? Of course, but it didn't stop me from continuing down the path the next day or the following week. Now, the definition of greatness is the quality of being great, as in size, skill, achievement, or power. And within that, the definition of just great is markedly superior in character or quality. Now, in my own terms, greatness is about showing up every day and giving everything you've got to whatever the focus is. Yes, achievements are a measure of success, but to me, what matters the most is being able to show up on a daily basis and staying committed to the long, dry, and somewhat lonely process of getting to where you want to be. That is the only way to reach and tap into our inner greatness and see what we are really made of. Now, over the course of the past 5 years of trying to tap into my own inner greatness, I've recognized and realized there isn't one formula that works for all. Matter of fact, there really isn't one formula that equals greatness. We all have the ability to create our own based on what we value, what our beliefs are, and who we wish to become in the future. Do you want to be one of the greatest parents to ever roam the earth? Do you want to be a leader in a local community that helps give back? Do you want to work in hospitals and help patients regain their health? Regardless of what you aspire to do, there is always going to be a way for you to tap into your inner greatness that will allow for you to excel in whatever that dream life looks like. I know for me, wanting to tap into my inner greatness as a podcast host, I need to continue to work on the craft on a weekly basis by interviewing guests and creating these solo podcasts. I need to watch and listen to other people in the space that I admire and learn from them as interviewers. And on top of that, I need to put time and energy into other buckets of my life, like personal health, friendship, experiences, etc., that all help me tap into my inner greatness. For me, all those buckets need to be filled in order for my personal greatness wheel to go round and round smoothly. Today, we're going to dive into 7 ways for us to tap into our inner greatness, which will ultimately help us reach our inner potential. Are these the only 7? Could there be more? Well, of course. This is just my bearded wisdom, so please don't assume that there aren't other ways to do so and that maybe there are certain things that you think of that you wish I could have added. Let me remind you, though, that this doesn't happen overnight, and it will be a game of trial and error. But with time, we will find what does and doesn't work for us. 7 ways to tap into your inner greatness. Number 1, self-awareness of who you are. Self-awareness is absolutely crucial if we have any interest in tapping into our inner greatness. We need to understand both our strengths and weaknesses. We need to understand what our interests are. We need to understand what we are capable of bringing to the table and that we also enjoy doing. When I was considering entering the podcast space, I considered what it takes to be a podcast host. The host must like people and enjoy talking. Well, I sure as heck fire did. The host must be curious to help keep the convo flowing. Well, I always had a question to ask regardless of the topic, so I knew that wasn't a problem. The host must be willing to bring some type of unique energy, perspective to the mic. I mean, I'm the bearded man, baby. I always got something to kind of bring to the table and spice things up a little bit, keep it spicy. So everything checked off. So I knew it was definitely worth a shot to give it a go. To know who we really are, we must be 110% honest with ourselves and not make up any excuses because it will hurt us in the long run. Lean into your strengths and find ways to balance out the weaknesses. Find what you enjoy doing and see how you can make a living doing it, because there is always a way. Self-awareness of who you are is absolutely crucial. We need to understand our strengths, weaknesses, and interests. Number 2, spend time in silence. Silence allows for reflection. Reflection allows us to learn from our past to help us better prepare for the future. Whether it is sitting and thinking, writing in a journal, walking around the block and processing the day's events, we need to create space for us to be in total silence. Now, that doesn't mean we need to wear earplugs and cut out all sound. It just means disconnecting from this hyper-connected world for a bit. Put the phone on Do Not Disturb, shut the laptop, turn off the TV, and watch the thoughts that rise in your head and see what you can learn by just observing them. Most times there is some gem waiting to be discovered. We just need to let it be found. I don't dedicate specific minutes or hours of my day to silence, but I squeeze it in whenever possible, especially after a long day. It gives me the space to reflect, think, and slow down after being productive for a full day. Spending time in silence better prepares us for the future by reflecting and learning from the past, which gets us ready for the future. Number 3, always seek knowledge. Knowledge is power. There's no question about it. Even when we think we know it all, we don't. Keeping an open mind to always be willing to learn more is a great way to tap into our inner greatness and unlock our inner potential. Read books, listen to podcasts, take online courses, watch documentaries, and absorb everything that is of interest to you that will help you better prepare yourself for whatever goals you may have. If there happens to be one medium that you enjoy most, like reading, then triple down on that and soak up as many books, articles, and newsletters that you can. As Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I think he was right. Always seek knowledge because there will always be more to learn. Create routines. Routines help us stay accountable to showing up to what really matters most to us. Whether it is fitness activities, working on our business, attending a local community event, picking up and learning how to play the guitar, etc., etc. The more we consistently do something, the more that routine becomes a habit. When something becomes a habit, it then turns into a non-negotiable, like eating or drinking water. We just do it without making any excuses. Picking days of the week and certain times of the day allow us to spend less time and energy debating when to do something, and it allows us to show up and actually do it. I schedule all of my important daily wellness activities in the morning so that I not only get them accomplished, but so it jumpstarts my mind and body for the day ahead of me. I also schedule all of my podcast tasks throughout the week so that I don't fall behind. Creating routines helps us stay accountable to showing up to the activities that matter most to us. At some point, the routine will become a habit and part of our lives. Number 5, build the right circle. There is no better way to elevate yourself towards greatness than to audit the people you surround yourself with. Do these people inspire you to be great? Do their actions motivate you to become a better version of yourself? Then keep spending time with these types of people. On the other hand, does this group of people seem to question every decision you make? Does their energy drain you rather than fill you up? Do they push negativity rather than positivity? These are the people you want to cut out ASAP. Now, it's not about surrounding yourself with people that can directly help you. It is about surrounding yourself with people that genuinely inspire you to become a better version of yourself. I make a conscious effort to only spend my time and energy with people that genuinely inspire me in some way, shape, or form, because I do not have the time or desire to be around people that do not make me feel good. To build the right circle of people around us, we must constantly audit and make sure these people inspire us and motivate us to become a better version of ourselves. Number 6, take care of your body. Our body is our vehicle, and we can't trade it in for a new one. This is the only one we've got. With that being said, we need to fuel it, hydrate it, rest it, and push it properly. You can't put diesel into a gasoline car and expect it to run. Neither can we put junk food in our body, feed ourselves negative thoughts, or consume unhealthy liquids and expect it to run perfectly. We must pay close attention to our diet and do our best to only consume foods that elevate our energy. We must push our body with daily sweat to keep the juices flowing and exert the energy that builds up within us. We must hydrate our body with more than enough water in a day so that we are not operating under performance due to dehydration. We must take care of our mind by telling ourselves good thoughts and resting it by meditating or journaling to let out our emotions. I am not perfect, but I damn well do my best to make sure I am taking care of my body every single day. Take care of your body because it is our vehicle. We need to fuel, hydrate, push, and rest it properly. Number 7, create your dream home. Whether you live in a 200 square foot apartment or a 2,500 square foot house, it does not matter. Utilize every inch of your house to your advantage and make the space count. Aside from the work from home life that has now become the norm, this is our safe space. It is a place that we live, sleep, eat, store our things, think, read, reflect, have solitude, and more. We want this place to have everything we could ever need, and we want it to be clean, clutter-free, and a place that inspires us to do whatever it is that we need to do. For instance, my desk work area where I get 99% of my work done and I love it, it's clean, it's minimal, it's comfortable, and it provides me everything that I need to do my work. Everything that is on this desk has some type of value in my day-to-day life. When I sit down at this computer chair, I know it's time to work and I love it. My bedroom, it's clean and clutter-free. My closet is only filled with clothes that I wear or need, and it's not overwhelmingly stuffed with too much stuff. The entire house itself is very minimal and clean, and everything has a purpose for being in our space. Create your dream home and utilize every inch of space that you've got to your advantage. This is our sacred space that we should be happy and excited to be in. To recap, tapping into our inner greatness doesn't happen with a snap of the fingers. It is a lifelong commitment of trying to always become a better version of ourselves. There is no perfect formula. It is truly different for every single person depending on their wants, needs, and desires. One thing is for sure, we all have the ability to tap into that greatness, which will ultimately help us reach our ultimate potential. 7 ways to reaching our inner greatness. Number 1, self-awareness of who you are is absolutely crucial. We need to understand our strengths, weaknesses, and interests. Number 2, spending time in silence better prepares us for the future by reflecting and learning from the past, which gets us ready for the future. Number 3, always seek knowledge because there will always be more to learn. Number 4, creating routines helps us to stay accountable to showing up to the activities that matter most to us. At some point, the routine will become a habit and part of our lives. Number 5, to build the right circle of people around us, we must constantly audit and make sure these people inspire us and motivate us to become a better version of ourselves. Number 6, take care of your body because as our vehicle, we need to fuel, hydrate, push, and rest it properly. And number 7, create your dream home and utilize every inch of space that you've got to your advantage. This is our sacred space, and we should be happy and excited to be in it. Challenge for the listeners. Spend 10 minutes within the next 24 hours and consider which of the 7 areas you need to put more effort into in order to tap into your inner greatness. It does not matter how many, just pick one to start with and continue to audit and work on each of these categories moving forward. Questions from the Stay Dialed In community. Oliver said, how to get in touch as a young person with executives or leaders of a company. My advice to you, Oliver, cold email and slide through every communication line that they have. Find ways to deliver value to them that they will want to have a conversation with you. If you can't get in touch with them, consume every piece of content that they have out around them. Articles, interviews, etc. It'll give you a little bit better context to who they are and how they think. I once read a book called The Third Door, where the author Alex Banyan was trying to get meetings with the highest level people in the world. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Larry King, Steve Wozniak, Quincy Jones, and more. And to get the meeting with Bill Gates, I believe it took him years of consistently following up. He couldn't get a meeting with Warren Buffett, so instead he went to Warren's yearly shareholders meeting with friends and asked his questions in front of the audience. All this to say, get creative and find your third door. They may not respond to the email or to the LinkedIn message, but there is always a third door in. Stay consistent, and I guarantee you'll find it. Next, we have from Evan, how to communicate to your friends / peer pressure. This is a great question. For the first part, I think it's simple. You tell people exactly how you feel in a calm, respectful way. If they judge you for whatever you have to say or question your decision-making on choices you're making in your life, in the wrong ways, right? Not like trying to help you work through it, but like, why are you going to quit your job to chase your dream? Like, that's such a bad idea. No. You don't want those types of people around you. But seriously, are these people truly who you want to be surrounded with? This can be an aha moment that nobody wants to go through when you realize maybe you aren't surrounded by the right friends. But the good news is, the sooner you figure this out, the sooner you can start surrounding yourself with the right people. For the other half, peer pressure. Always stay true to you and don't ever budge on anything unless it is something you want to do. It may be hard, but ask yourself internally, is this something I really want to do? Or am I doing it just to please and fit in with other people? Only do something because you deep down inside want to do it. Don't allow the peer pressure to dictate your life and make decisions on your behalf. This week we did not have any podcast reviews, so we have no podcast review of the week. If you'd like to be next week's pod review, head over to the iTunes podcast app for It's the Bearded Man Podcast. Scroll down to the bottom and leave a one-word or one-sentence review on what you think of this podcast and these episodes. It is really helpful to naturally growing the podcast, so please do so if you have not yet already. Once again, the Bearded Wisdom newsletter is now rebranded to Stay Dialed In newsletter. If you would like to get some weekly wisdom directly to your inbox, head over to itsthebeardedman.com today and sign up. I try to make these very short, simple, and sweet. It should take you no more than probably 3 to 5 minutes to read. And I hope it's a little bit just to keep you moving throughout the day. So I hope you guys and gals are enjoying that. If you did enjoy today's podcast episode, all that I ask, please screenshot this episode on whatever platform you are listening in on, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, podcast app, whatever platform you are listening in on right now, screenshot it, click, do it. Go to your Instagram, post it to your story, and tag me at Bob-A. That's B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Share it on your IG story. Let me know the biggest takeaway was, what the learning was, what you enjoyed. And I would so greatly appreciate it. It gets me fired up every time you guys and gals share it out. And I pound my chest and I do a little dance in my room by myself because it gets me that hyped up. So please keep sharing it out. It really does help grow this podcast. This is episode 119. Tap into your inner greatness. 7 ways to reach your ultimate potential. We will see you guys and gals next week. It's the Bearded Man Podcast. See you.